Can I remove it? I can't remove it.
Just go back up to the scene.
Okay. And then what do I do then?
Click the scene.
All right. I pressed it. I'm pressing it. It's not happening. Oh, Lord. All right. I see 3 little buttons on the side. It's not cutting off. Oh, Lord. Oh, there we go.
I did it.
Good morning, y'all.
Good afternoon, good morning, whichever one you prefer, and welcome to the Healthy Hair Chat with the stylist at the Healthy Hair Studio. We are glad that you guys decided to join us today for this conversation all about, you guys know we're all about wellness, we're all about healthy hair, but healthy hair comes from having a healthy lifestyle, y'all. So we talk about a little bit of everything. And so we're excited that you guys decided to join in with us. If you're watching the replay, click replay and the comments so we know that you guys are watching. So I'm gonna let the ladies, we're all gonna introduce ourselves because we all have different audiences. And so we just want to introduce ourselves to everybody. So we're gonna start with you, Car.
Good morning, Grand Rising to some. I like to say both because some people, everybody got their own thing. But good morning, everyone. I'm K Strands. I'm with K Strands. My name is Cara Kalor with K Strands, and I work at the Healthy Hair Studio. We're pretty much gonna first of all say Happy Mother's Day to everyone. This is Mother's Day month, and then Happy Mental Health Month
Yes.
awareness. Okay.
I'm Angel Eskridge, of Touch by on Shell. And I am with the Healthy Hair Studio as well. We just want to just sit and chat with you guys today. This is absolutely phenomenal. And I know even though we're on a smaller scale now, one day we just uh, for a great debut.
That's right. That's right.
That's
That's right.
fun. Hey everybody, y'all know me. I am Takara Nicole. I am the owner of the Healthy Hair Studio, but I'm also a clinical trichologist. And I'm excited that you guys are watching. You guys know we've been talking about just dispelling the myth of what the African American salon has always been known for, always been looked to. But we're here to bring positive energy, healthy conversation, and that's going to help us to grow and be better. So that's who we are. So good evening. I mean, good morning, not good evening, y'all. I'm sleepy already. Good morning, good afternoon. I see we got someone on the line. Good morning, Miss Cecilia. Thank you for joining us. All right, y'all. So listen, we're gonna dive into this conversation. Like Cara said, it's Mother's Day. You guys know this chat though is for everybody. It's not just for women, but today we're gonna focus on the woman. Why? Because it's Mother's Day. Fathers, listen, June, we got y'all. It's gonna be all about you. But today it's all about focusing on the mother. So again, we say Happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers, and let's have this conversation. Cara.
Okay, so I just want to open up and talk about, I guess, mental health and how
Yeah.
that affects us emotionally, women, and the things that we experience and what causes us to be in a healthy mental state. And a lot of times, the things that affect our emotional state is just health. I mean, not health, but life events, things that are going on with our health, things that are going on in our relationships, environmental, um, norms and values and things that we have been raised to know. And all of that affects us emotionally and how we view ourselves. So I want to start off first by just talking about like what mental health is. And mental health is pretty much it's a person's emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So that hits on all the points of pretty much how we view ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, and how we view ourselves is it's based on life experiences, the things that we've been through. Um,
Right.
it also affects us, like how our family dynamic is, our friend dynamic is, our work dynamic is, and then also what's going on with us physically.
Yeah.
Because some things, we're dealing, women, we're getting to the age where we are dealing with, physical things. And so you may be dealing with something that physical that mentally can be draining to you because you're not the same, or you don't view yourself to be the same as you used to be. And I think a lot of times with women, we do go through those stages with society norms where, the thing is, what is 30 is the new 20, all
Yeah.
the little sayings that they say, oh, if you're over 30, you're no good. Nobody wants, you're not marriage material. So those are social norms that we constantly have to hear the echoes of that. And
Yeah.
then also just build yourself up to where you hear that noise, but then you have that self-worth for yourself. So those are just some of the factors that affects us emotionally
Mhm.
when it comes to, just becoming and being comfortable and confident as a woman, despite all the things that you have faced in this world, despite.
Part But Carl, that's the good part. And I think a lot of it too is like the idea of us having to be like the superwoman. You know what I'm saying? Like we are, yes, we are strong. A lot of times we can handle a lot of pressure, but that doesn't mean that people have to keep applying more pressure just because we have the ability to hold it. And so I think sometimes us feeling like we have to walk around with this cape on
Oh yeah.
and let me just save the day, not being able to say no, that plays on our mental health, and sometimes not being able to show up for people the way that they want us to show up is a part of our mental health. So again, like you said, those social norms, they play a huge role in how we perceive ourselves and also how we want other people to perceive us. And so
Yeah.
sometimes we want people to see us as, I'm strong, I'm good, Angel, carry it, girl, car, carry it, you good,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? But the reality is that there are moments where it is too heavy. There are moments when you have to get stuff off of your plate. There's moments that we have to say no. And it's to protect our mental health. So we don't
Right.
talk enough about, as women, making sure that we do protect our mental health. Therapy is not a cuss word,
Mhm.
and I always teach therapy plus God. It works, It's
Mhm.
not. Some people just feel like, I don't. But it's good to be in the space where you can release and let go and freely let go.
Mhm.
And it's all right to say, I don't have it all together.
Oh,
It's okay to say I'm not okay. I'll be okay, but today I'm not okay.
right.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. And then also just giving ourselves those breaks. I think while we're doing the hustle and we're packing all the stuff on our to-do list, it's so important to give yourself, the rest that you need.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much just digging into, because I love talking about mental health. Y'all know I'll go in and
Yeah.
this is happening, that's why this is happening, so I really enjoy learning about the mind and understanding people and just listening to them and pinpointing things that they are doing that contributing to their
Yeah.
process, about themselves, and then also just a comparison factor,
Ooh,
constantly looking at,
that's good.
like, oh, I'm not here yet, or where I should have been, and this
Mhm.
is that. You're exactly where you're supposed to be at the exactly point that you're supposed to be, based on the things that you've experienced in this lifetime.
Yeah.
It's where you at. This is where you are. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you could have done things differently. Yes, it could go a different way, but as of right now, there's something in this moment, in this time, in this period that you need.
That's good.
That's so good.
So take that. You know what I'm,
Yeah.
and don't rush it. You're not in a race. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There is no race. The only race that you have is in your mind. So if you can eliminate that race, and it's I mean, we all do it. We all do it. We all look at ourselves and say, "Oh, I could have been and should have been, and if I would have done that differently, I would have been here." But that is part of your mental health, is how you see yourself. And
Yeah.
so if you can just get, and that's what I wanted to say before we even start, just give ourselves grace. Give
Mm.
ourselves grace,
Yep.
give our coworkers grace,
That's
give people
good.
that you come in contact with grace, because at the end of the day, everybody has something
Yeah.
that
Yep.
they are dealing with, that are battling with, that it really is the perception of self. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, just give people grace, what I
And
mean?
I think the thing is, give people the grace that you want to receive,
For sure.
because oftentimes we don't give people the same grace, the same
Yes.
level of grace that we want to receive. And so when you're all in your feelings and you're all in your emotions, everyone is just supposed to be so understanding. But when other people are
Oh,
in their feelings and in their emotions,
you
it's like, what is wrong
disregard,
with you?
disregard.
We disregard it, So I think, the biggest thing is
Mhm,
like give people the same measure of
mhm,
grace, that you want to receive, because all
mhm.
of us, life is life in all of us. And if we could learn, especially as women, to come together,
Yeah.
sometimes people stick on the outside because you choose to stick on the outside, not because people push you on the outside, but because we
Mhm.
choose. So make the decision to come into the fold. Make the decision. I say all the time, like, accountability only works both ways, right? When you come
Yes.
in the shop, I can't help you if you don't tell me, Angel, right? Like, if I don't know what's happening at home and you're not being honest, there's
Mhm,
so many times people come sit in a chair and you're not honest. You
mhm,
just want to be like, my hair is good, my regimen's good, I use this, and this, because you've coached yourself. And we can tell
mhm.
that,
You have your
okay,
script ready.
you
You got
have
your script
it.
ready.
Go ahead, Angel.
On the flip side of that, sometimes we give people a lot more grace than we actually give ourselves. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
that's true.
Sometimes we don't give ourselves enough grace. Like we'll forgive everybody. We'll, you know what I'm saying? We'll, just bend
Yeah,
over backwards for everybody, but we don't do that for us. You know what I'm saying? We don't give ourselves a moment of, you know what? Okay, yeah, I could have been, further on, but you know what I'm saying? Or I could have been, me personally, I just turned 40,
Mm.
and of course that my
you look good, girl. You look
Exactly.
good. You
but
look
no,
Don't
amazing.
tell nobody.
that right there though, like, okay, wait a minute, yeah, you just turned 40, but you know what I'm saying, yeah, you could have been further along, but you could, you know what I'm saying, all of those things, but give yourself grace, because yeah, you just turned 40, but that's 40 years of life you've lived, that you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, how many twists and turns and lefts and rights and
yeah,
pitchforks did you know what I'm saying, come up to, and even, you know what I'm saying, starting over and restarting and going forward and restarting, like, as long as you don't die in the
Mhm,
process of going
yeah,
forward, you know what I'm saying, or
mhm,
as long as you don't turn around and just completely go the opposite way,
yeah,
you're making progress, you know what I'm saying, even if
exactly.
go over to the left, you still going forward. Go over to the,
yeah.
you're still going forward.
Still.
As long as you don't turn around and just
Just give all the way up, you know?
Yeah, it's all right. That's a good
I
point,
think that's
though.
the biggest thing that we don't look in. I know I'm guilty of that. I've had things where I don't look in retrospect until way down the line, and I'm like, you know what? I've done this. I've accomplished that. I've accomplished that. But we're so busy running. We're so busy in the race. Oh,
Yeah,
the next thing to do. What's the next goal on my list? And you're not really paying attention to. Look at all the stuff you're accomplishing along the way. You did it. It may have taken long.
enjoy the journey.
Yes, like you may have
Enjoy
taken
it.
longer, but you still got it done. And you're always going to have, as long as you have breath in your body, you're always going to have more stuff to do on that wish list, on that goal list. It is
Yep.
never going to end if you are a person that really focuses on being productive. You're always going to add something else to that list, every month or every year. It's going to keep going. You know what I mean? So you're never going to just feel completely done.
Yeah.
and quick. You were just saying something about like the thing, noting the things that you have done. I just want to shout out real quick to our girl Carolyn, because
Yes.
something, I was having a moment at the salon. And when I tell you, I mean, it wasn't just a completely negative moment, but it was
Yeah.
a moment of reflection, like, not feeling, like not feeling adequate in a moment.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. My girl, she said, wait a minute. Are you the same woman who came here, and the same woman who built her clientele, and the same woman who finished her book,
Yep.
and the same one? And like, she literally spoke life back into everything that
Yep.
I was thinking. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's like, and you the same woman who launched her hair, so hair business.
Mhm.
Like, she literally
Yes.
began to, and you don't even know that somebody's watching, or at least taking note of the things.
Mhm.
Having an accountability team,
Yeah.
having friends around, having someone who
Yeah.
in that moment, because those moments are real.
Oh,
We
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for
want
sure.
somebody to just say, hey, no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no,
get out of that.
Right.
Get
Get
out of that.
out your
Get out.
feelings. Get
Get out.
out your feelings. It's okay.
outside and
And
look
this
in.
is why accountability is important. This is why
Mhm.
your circle is important. This is why your people are important, because in those moments when you feel like giving up, in those moments when it's crazy, when it's wild, when it's just
Hey, Donna.
not the way that you want it to be. And this is why we're here, right? As the Healthy Hair Chat, the Healthy Hair
Mhm.
Studio, because we want to show y'all that all salons are not messy. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But we legit, every day is not perfect, right? Every day is not perfect. But the reality is when it comes down to it, we got each other back. When it come down to it,
Yep.
I'm not walking out that shop. If somebody need prayer, somebody need help,
Mm,
somebody need strength, we're gonna be that one to another. And so your circle matters, your community matters, because
Yeah.
in those moments, you have to, and you make the decision to be amongst, right? Because you could go and be in a salon suite and be by yourself. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And we've all been in that space, but it's
Oh, yeah.
something about being in the midst, like we're in our elements and we're working to
Mhm.
ourselves. But it's just something about that. Hey, when I get in that moment, Car will walk past and she'd be like, I can feel you today. And I'll be like, ooh. And she like, I can feel you today. I know something is off. I know something's not right, but
Mhm.
it's gonna be okay. Carolyn walked past the other day and she was like, my knee is still hurting. Angel was like, no, wait a minute. We about to pray right now because I'm tired of seeing you walk past here
yep.
and your knee messed up. But being able to be that community, y'all, we have to do better as women as a whole of
Yeah.
just showing up for one another. You know what I'm saying? We're all hurting. We're all going through things. It's crazy and it's wild that somebody can walk past and your immediate thought is they think they all that. Your immediate
Yeah.
thought is they're
Mm-mm.
nasty. Your immediate thought is, ooh, I don't want to be friends with them. I don't want to be cool
Mhm.
with them. Why?
It's
Because they
internal.
decide that they want to
Mhm.
show up a certain type of way.
Yeah.
Are we
And
upset
you don't know
because
what that person is pushing through either. Like just by
exactly,
them showing up that day, they may have just built up enough courage that day to say, "I'm gonna look cute today. I need,
exactly.
I need to
And
look
angel,
cute."
that
And
was
that
what you
don't
was
have
talking about
nothing to
earlier,
do with you.
right?
It has nothing to do with you. It's whatever they are dealing with and how they're trying to heal themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So that is something. That's why I said we go back to the grace, we go back to understanding. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Just not always be in your head about everything. Don't take everything so personal. You know what I mean? Like just allow people to be in their own. And if they're having a rough day, they're having a rough day.
Yep.
Everybody has rough days. Everybody has rough moments. Everybody has moments where you can get a complicated client and you just like, oh Lord, I know how to do this,
Mm,
but because you've
Yeah.
dealt with so much outside, and then you come in and you like, how am I going to juggle this today? I know
Yep.
what I'm doing, but because you have so much stressors in your mind, you can almost go blank on what you did and you could be doing it for 20, 30 years. But
Yeah.
because you're dealing with so much stress and just world and then like so much all on your plate, it can, translate when you get behind that chair. Because when you get behind that chair, it's a different feeling. It's a different expectation for not only the client, it's for yourself
Absolutely.
because you're always saying, okay, this is going to be a representation of my work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when they leave this chair, this is representing me. So that is a stressor within itself that a lot of times as stylists, we don't think about that. Everybody, may put it off a different way. Oh, I don't stress, so I'm comfortable. There is always going to be a client. I don't know how skilled you are. I don't care how
Yep.
long you've been doing it. I don't care, what you call yourself to be, the weave, whoever.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a person that gets in your chair that challenges your skill and your ability. And
Yeah.
that is just what it is. You know what I'm saying? It can not even always be a skill, but it can be a personality thing. If you're taking walk-ins and you're taking new clients, there'll be a conflict with a person that you just like, okay, this is going to be a challenge, but I have to do my job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that comes with building that confidence within yourself and also back to your emotional, how you feeling about yourself that day. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because you may have juggled so much in that day, and you just like, I don't feel like this, but I gotta get done. But I don't feel like it. I don't feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what? I think that's the biggest thing. Carolyn said, "How do we carry? How do you carry that gracefully?" And sometimes it's like you have to sometimes put that smile on your face.
Hmm.
It means we have to push through. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now, Angel was talking about earlier, and I'm gonna let you talk up to that because we was getting ready to allude to the mask aspect of life, because sometimes we can confuse the wearing the mask to
Hmm.
showing up well, right?
Yeah.
There are moments that this is what I have. This is my job. I have to push through my feelings because right now in this moment, it's not about me. It's about what I need to handle in this moment. And when I leave out of this moment, I can feel however I want to feel, whatever. But what I teach a lot is just showing up
Yeah.
well. And there are moments and days, man, I don't feel it. But because of what we talked last night about my commitment,
mhm.
to my assignment.
I.
And doing hair is a part of my assignment.
Yeah.
And because doing hair is part of my assignment, I'm committed to that. And so even when the interest fades, even when the feelings fade, even when I don't feel like fades, my commitment to make an impact on my client is what keeps me committed. And
Yeah.
so it keeps me showing up well every single day. And so that's what we have to do, ladies. It's moments when we don't feel it. You know
Oh
what
yeah.
I'm saying? Your kids have got on your nerves so bad
Hmm.
before you left out the house. You know, they won't wear what they want to wear. The homework not done. They
Exactly.
want to take their time. They done miss the school bus. You know, y'all know what happens.
Oh yeah.
Mama, I don't have lunch. How you don't have lunch?
Hmm.
You
Right.
know, all the things that transpire, and then you get to working like, oh my God. But
Right.
sometimes take a moment, y'all, to inhale and
Hmm.
exhale.
That,
Inhale and exhale. I made it here. My
yeah.
kids are safe. I am safe. And because of all of those things, right now, I'm going to lean into the moment that I'm in right now and allow this to be. And so it's not necessarily about putting on a mask, right? Because that's the difference. But it's all about, I got to be committed to what I said. And what I said was, I'm going to provide an environment that is conducive for my clients. And a part of providing an environment that is calm and relaxing for our clients is all about also how we carry ourselves.
Hmm.
So when I don't feel like saying, hey girl, how are you? When I don't feel like having a conversation, I'm still gonna be like, how are you? How is your week? How's your hair doing? How can I assist you? Is what's been going on? How are your children? What's
Hmm.
life looking like right now? Because I'm committed to showing up well. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Angel, you was gonna say.
Oh no, I was going to say to what Takara was saying earlier about someone doing themselves up, and or actually you were saying it too. The whole like it doesn't take all that, or oh they think they all that, or whatever the case.
Yeah.
We quick sometimes to speak when somebody's not caring for themselves. You know what I'm saying? When some,
Yeah.
been drugged through the mud and they put themselves last and they taking care of everything else and they look a mess, we quick to be like, they going through something.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But when we finally do have a minute to put ourselves together or come with our best face forward, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Oh, well, she's on that.
Hmm.
Well, you know what I mean? Taking ourselves out of that situation and just really encouraging. You see somebody that did
Girl,
something,
you look good.
encourage that. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because how many times as moms, as wives, as girlfriends, as ministers, as hair,
Yeah.
Hmm.
you put yourself on the back burner, you know what I mean? And so being able to just show up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't show up enough because of the negative attention. For so long, I didn't show up because of the negative, I didn't want nobody to look at me. I didn't want to, I didn't want nobody to say that, oh, that you,
Yeah.
so I would blend in, not do my hair in a ponytail, dress down, you know what I'm saying? So that I don't overdress occasion. But no, ladies, like you can overdress and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
still how
It's
you
okay.
Hmm.
be who you are. And if
And
you
don't be afraid to give a compliment. Like you
Yeah.
said, you
Compliments
ain't
are
be quick when
free.
you see
Just give
somebody
them
are
walk by like,
to
girl, I
people.
like them shoes. I like them glasses.
Yes.
Angel came in and she on this little red blazer with her little black shorts on, her little gold shoes. I'm like, girl, it's giving. Carolyn come in with
Yes.
her jean and her all denim. Girl, it's giving.
Yes. Yes.
Car come in with that bad wig on, curl to the back to perfection. Girl, it's giving. Like
Yes.
not being afraid to support and love. Like I've done hair, I've sold hair, but y'all listen, Angel got hair, girl. Let me get some hair. And
Yeah.
I'm sort of going rocky. I got it in right now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Post my pictures, post my videos. Why? Because we're
right.
supporting
Yeah.
one another. And I don't think we realize how far we can get when we just uplift and support one another. Stop nagging on each other and just having something to say about one another, because it really does shrink. Like we know what we go through as women.
Hmm.
Where to go. Some of us are single moms and we're trying to navigate, and we're the head of the household.
Hmm.
And so it's like you already know the weight that looks like. Why do you want to add more weight by showing negativity?
Right.
So let's do a better job. Starting today, not tomorrow, but starting today. When you see somebody, say, "Girl, you look good. You're
Mhm.
doing a good job.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you."
Mhm.
I'm quick to be like, "Girl, I'm proud of
Keep
you. I'm
going.
so proud.
Keep
I'm
going.
keep going. Go ahead, Carl."
Mhm. Oh no, I was just saying in reference to what you're saying, like
Yeah.
like a compliment is free. A compliment
Yeah.
is free, and then learning how to compartmentalize things, that helps me whenever I'm dealing with like people always say they never know. Like whenever I disclose like the everything that I have dealt
Yeah.
with and dealt, like I don't wear it. You know what I'm saying? I don't wear it. I don't come, I don't bring all that when I come to work. My main focus is on just making sure that my client or in anybody that I come in contact that comes into the salon, they don't
Yeah.
feel that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I may go, leave and just and be like, God, Lee, I got so much I gotta do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like you said, your main focus is when they come in. Your focus is when you come into the salon and when you deal with me, you're not gonna feel what I'm dealing with outside of here.
Absolutely.
You're gonna feel whatever you got going on. We're gonna laugh and joke about it, and we'll talk about it. We'll get through it. But at the end of the day, it's like we just have to learn as women, and I think a lot of times it's cultural. I'm having a bad day. You're gonna feel it. Everybody gonna feel it, and that's not what life is
You
about.
gonna see
That's
it.
yes. It's like you have to learn how to compartmentalize everything in your life. That's your emotion, and it's a cultural like. And I'm gonna say this is totally off topic, but it deals with business and in the Black culture. A lot of times when you go in Black businesses, it's like you get whatever I feel. It's
Mm,
not you're not in control of the emotional part, and I feel like we're missing out on emotional intelligence when we're dealing with business, when we're dealing with Black people. It's
yeah.
like you can go into other ethnicities and go into their business, and you don't necessarily feel that. Yes, everybody has a bad day, but you don't
Yeah.
necessarily feel like they're going to give you the service that you paid for. I don't care what they got.
Right.
But when it comes to us, it tends to, if I feel good, that's the service you're getting today. If I don't
Yeah.
feel good, that's the service you're getting. If I got an attitude, that's what you're getting. If me and my husband got an issue, that's what you're gonna get. Me and my man
Yeah.
got, you're gonna get that. My kids pissing me off, you're gonna get that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like we don't learn how to just pull all that back and just say, I'm a professional,
Yep.
show up, I'm gonna get you in and out. And the next time, if we have to huddle up and get with each other and say, girl, it ain't working for me today, but I'm gonna get through this.
Right. Because
But
it's a time and a place for
because it's a
everything.
time and a place for
And it's
everything.
not the time.
And
That's not the
it's not the
time.
time, and it's definitely not the time to do that on top of somebody.
No. Yeah. And I think sometimes too, like, and this is what I'm learning is that like sometimes, we can feel justified by the things that we've gone through,
Mhm.
right? So we kind of stay stuck there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But just because they really did hurt you, you really did have a bad day,
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you have to give into those things.
That's right.
It's
Yes.
okay to release it. And
Mhm.
because it's Mother's Day, we're talking about is mental health. One thing I'll talk about is just like forgiveness, right? Many
Yes.
of us, that's one of the biggest things is just like living a life of unforgiveness. And it can
Mhm.
make us become bitter. And so we have this hard exterior because
Mhm.
we don't forgive ourselves because
Oh
of
yeah.
life issues. We don't forgive other people because of the hand or whatever they've done to us. And so it's made us, some of us become bitter and we have projected that onto
Mhm.
other people. And so sometimes it's just a matter of forgiveness. Forgive yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not where I want to be, but some of it's because of me. I forgive myself.
Yep.
Forgive the people that have done you wrong. Forgive those people because a lot of
Mhm.
times that's the reason why we're still stuck in the
Mhm.
place that we're in. And so some of us, you don't want to go to work. Why? Because the hand that you've been dealt. And
Mhm.
some of the hand that you've been dealt is because I didn't ask to be a single mom.
Right.
You know, I didn't ask for this life. I didn't ask for these things. Some of you might even be angry with God to a certain extent. Like, God, why would you let this happen to me? And so some of us just have to get to the place where we release it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like harboring those things and those perceptions about life, it dictates how we act. And
Oh
so some of us walk around with this stank
yeah,
attitude just
Lord.
all day, and you're not loving, you're not giving. You're gonna be like, oh, if people could just get to know the real me, we can't. Because
Yep.
the real you can't show up because of how you feel about the cards that you've been dealt and the way life has showed up for you. And so listen, release those things. I know, I can say, I'll speak for myself. I'm always transparent. Y'all will learn that about me. I'm always transparent. So for me, I'm like, I never thought that I would be a single mom, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna walk around and be like, dang, I got these two kids, I gotta take care of these two kids, I
Oh
gotta
yeah.
provide for these two kids.
Mhm.
No, I can't walk around like that, especially not to my clients. I can't come off like that. So, and everything y'all learning to forgive, learning to release. I know you don't like the hand that you've been dealt, but you don't have to walk around with the weight of the world on your shoulders.
That's
Release it.
for.
Yeah.
If let's forgive, we'll talk about forgiveness. People don't understand that forgiveness and harboring emotions causes disease.
It does.
It causes, disease. And I'm like, I get into like all the herbs and all this stuff. And 'cause
Yeah.
of, like researching and learning and stuff, and say a lot of Black women, we have fibroids, and then a lot of times it can be tied to emotional things, like
Yeah.
it's, different things that you may experience on your ovaries and things like that is harbor emotions.
Mm.
That's part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because we won't let go, or we've had trauma of some sort and you haven't taken the time to work through that. And that's not something that you can heal overnight. But if you're consciously taking the effort to work through that, you're doing the work, and then people will see, they'll feel it on you. You know what I'm saying? But it just goes back to, releasing that, and releasing and giving yourself forgiveness and giving yourself grace, and just releasing some of those things. And then sometimes you do have to journal. You have to journal it out. You
Yeah.
have to go to a psychiatrist. You have to go to, what I'm saying, in prayer, because I think it's a combination of all of them, to be honest.
All of them. Yeah. It
You
do
need
take them all.
all of it. You know what I mean? So some people just say, "Oh, well, I'm going to meditate." Well, didn't do that, because I've heard sayings like, meditation is you allowing God to speak to you, prayer is you talking to him. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like quietness, you don't always have to have something to entertain every moment of your day. Turn the
Yeah.
radio off, turn the TV off, and just ride and just listen to how you think. I did this the other day. I was just driving, because we have 1,001 thoughts going through our head at one time.
Yeah.
And so I'm driving and I'm like, I'm not turning nothing on. I ain't listening to no podcast. I ain't listening to radio. I'm just going to ride. And then I just was listening to the different thoughts. And that gives you an opportunity to see, how do I think? You
Yeah.
Like, what is my thought process like? Is it negative? Is it positive? Am I pessimistic? Am I optimistic? And then that gives you time to talk to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not true about me. That's a lie.
Oh,
It says it's a lie if the devil tell it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
That's
it's
good.
different things that you hear in your
Yeah.
mind. People say, "Oh, it's always something." Well, it's gonna always be something, because
mhm.
you're always saying that it's something. So it's always gonna be something. So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's like you just have to take that time. We as women, especially as mothers, it don't matter if you're single, wife, whatever. You
Yeah.
have to take time in quietness,
Yeah.
because it regulates our nervous system. Like, people don't understand, they gotta be running, doing this and all that. That's not good for our nervous system. We
Yeah.
already brought life into this world. You get what I'm saying? And then
That's good.
a lot of women don't even take the time out to repair that. You know what I'm saying? To take the break that it needs to us to nurture our body back to where it has to be.
Yeah.
And you have to take that time, because ultimately you'll start shifting over to mental illness if you
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
And touching on that real quick, man, you said so much. First of all, I love that. Listen to how you think, right?
Yes.
As a man thinketh, so is he.
Yeah,
First off,
Right.
for
Yeah.
sure.
and all these thoughts, but listen to how you think. That is so
Mhm.
powerful. Listening to how you think. We listen to everything else, but we don't listen sometimes to how we think, because how we
Yeah.
speak and what we speak ends up happening. We
Mhm.
got that. I wanted to quickly just talk about keeping ourselves up first and putting ourselves together first.
That's
Like,
good.
you always hear like happy wife, happy life. And a lot of times people take that negatively. A lot of men take that
Mhm.
and like, oh, happy wife. Well, what? And then some people be like, well, what about the husband? And they
Mhm.
say, well, happy
Yeah,
family. But since it's about Mother's Day, you know what I'm saying? Since
Mhm.
it's Mother's Day, let's talk about happy wife, happy life, and what that really
Yeah.
means. You know, like if it's not about being pampered and everything on my schedule as a wife, as a mom, as a, what I'm saying, as a parent. It's about the fact that if I am happy, happiness is going to exude through my home. You know what I mean? Peace. If I'm peaceful, peace is going to exude through our home.
Absolutely.
If we're negative, if we're
Mhm.
frustrated, if we're angry, if we're bitter, if we're harboring those things, that's going to go through our home. The seeds plant is, what I'm saying, we are
Yeah.
planting, whether it's or positive, whether it's blessings or curses, we are planting seeds into our family, into our coworkers, into our environment as a whole. When we take the time to, I love the analogy, putting your own mask on first. Like I love to travel. Everybody, that's one thing you're gonna learn about me. I
Yeah.
And I used to love when I was little, first time getting on the airplane. I remember when the flight attendant came out with her little bag and she sits up the little thing and she does the little mask display. Like I used to, as many times as I've been on an airplane, I still
Yeah.
love that part. And when they take the mask and they say, put your own mask on first before you help other people.
Come on.
So real, because if I'm so busy trying to help everybody and do everything for everybody,
That's so good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to have no more. And that's what happens a lot of time in our homes as moms, whether you're single or married. You know what I mean? We put our family first and we forget about ourselves, and then we're burnt out. Then we're, dealing with the negative effects of the mental illness. We're dealing with depression. We're dealing with, you know what I'm saying, anxiety, frustration,
Anxiety.
all
Mhm.
those things. As
Yeah.
opposed to just your mask on first. Then you can actively, effectively take care of, you get what I'm saying? And of course, putting your mask on first, whether that's therapy, whether that's
You
just
said
sitting in
it.
your
Mhm.
closet, set up your little prayer closet. It can be a prayer room,
Yeah.
it can be a prayer toilet. Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
On the toilet
Mhm. Mhm.
prayer moment where, you know what I'm saying, where you have that. That's putting your mask on first. Um, if you got to take a minute and get your hair done and get your nails done, whatever that means to you, you know what I'm saying, in whatever combination, do it. And I found something that I absolutely loved. It says, if I'm not well, my home is not well.
Yeah.
My peace sets the atmosphere. My joy creates the rhythm. My
Mhm.
stability builds the foundation. We
Mhm.
are the foundation. We're not the background of our family photo,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Our family photo. We are the foundation. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then the other thing is we have to teach our children that, because I've learned personally that my child doesn't ask. She grew up not asking for things because she saw me not ask for things. She grew
Mhm.
up not
Mm.
asking for help because she saw me not asking for help,
Wow.
and that's dangerous.
Yeah.
I remember she was about 5 years old and she was walking a little funny, and I'm like, I mean, happy as a billy goat, but she
Yeah.
was around kind of funny. And I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, oh, nothing. So I could tell something was up, and I told her to take her shoes off. She had rubbed a hole in the bottom of her shoe.
Mhm.
There was like a little hole where her toe would go at the very bottom. So you
Mhm.
couldn't see it from physically looking at the sole, but
Mhm.
it was on the inside. And
Mhm.
I'm like, how long? You know what I mean? In my mind, I'm like, why didn't you say something?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And in her mind, she's like, well, I didn't want to be a bother. I love these shoes. I didn't, you know what I mean? It's one of the things
Mm.
it broke my heart. Because
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait, all you had to do was say there's something rubbing at the bottom of my shoe. But it's dangerous. It's dangerous. We have to put our mask on first, realize that we are not the background, we are the foundation of our family, and how we plant these seeds,
That's so good.
into our lives all around. So this is the garden that we're growing,
For
you know.
sure.
So put your mask on first. And don't hide behind the mask. It's not about hiding behind a mask. It's
That's
about
good.
being effective. This mask is gonna help me. This
Mhm.
therapy is gonna help me. This hair salon trip is gonna help me.
Yeah.
This grocery trip by myself. This trip at the
Yes.
by myself
Yeah.
help me.
Mhm. I think it's all about communication, like a communication, like
Absolutely.
communicating those times and weakness and those times of, that you need that time. Well, there's nothing wrong with telling somebody, hey, I just need a moment, y'all. I need a
Yeah.
break. I gotta check out for a little bit. This is nothing,
Yeah.
and then also have the people around you that can embrace that and not take offense to it and not take it as, oh, well, she's always having a moment. No, 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 no. You allow that person to have that because
Yeah.
it may be the only time that they have to regroup. You know what I'm saying? To get themselves back to
Absolutely.
where they need to be. So it's just, it's just moving in grace with it. You know what I mean? Especially when you are surrounded by, oh, and you said something, Angel, in reference to like relationships, like just the different relationships that we have with family and friend, and husband to wife and sister to brother, and all those things can also be stressors to you in life. So you have to learn how to navigate that so that your mental is not affected. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So you can show up and be, what you need to be, in life. So it's a lot that we do as women that we really have to. It's a fruit fly. That we really have to navigate that, and we really have to, take that time that we do need. And everybody doesn't have the same release. Like some people say, oh, well, I got to do this, or I got to.
Absolutely.
So everybody has their own way that they deal, and
Right. Because some
they
things to
can
me,
relieve
like going to
themselves.
the nail salon is not relaxation for me.
Right.
Like that's not gonna relax me. That's gonna bother me because you mess with my nails, you mess with my feet, you mess with all these kind of things, and I just want you to hurry up and get it done so I
Mm-hmm.
can leave.
Yeah.
So that's not really like a relaxation. So you have to do what works best for you. And I'm like, for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's like honestly just being in my room, nobody at home but me,
Mm-hmm.
curled up on the couch with my heated blanket and watching my little show to myself,
Mm-hmm.
my phone on do not disturb. And that's like that's life for me. Like people just like, you need to go to the spa. No, it's probably gonna get on my nerves because you're gonna be massaging me and touching me, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like, what I'm saying? So whatever that looks like for you, yeah, massage is good, Miss Diane. But I mean, it's just whatever that looks like for you, whatever gives you peace, whatever it is. But I love what you said, Angel, just about putting on your own mask first. And like, we just have to do a better job with taking care of ourselves. We cannot pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
We say it all day long. It's amazing how much advice we give to other people, but we don't take that same advice for ourselves. Oh,
Mhm.
yes, I love the beach. Absolutely. Now that right there is
Yeah, I like the beach.
relaxation for
That
me.
beach is
The
definitely
beach,
up
the
my alley.
reading, the
I would
relaxing.
say
I'm going to the beach. But it's
that's
amazing how much advice we have, y'all, ladies, for other people. And we could tell other people to, girl, you need to relax. Girl, you need to take
Mhm.
time off. Girl, you need to da 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 da. Girl, you need to
ooh,
go here. We can give that advice to everybody else, but it's like, when are you gonna take that same? You need to tell them no. What about you? Are you gonna tell
Yep,
them
for
no?
sure.
You have some people
mhm.
in your life you need to tell no. And so
Mhm.
we got to start taking on that advice that we give ourselves. I one thing I when I first went through my divorce, because we were used to just going and doing and being and all the kind of stuff. It was like it was hard for me to tell my children, like, no, But then I was putting myself in a hole trying to keep up a two-parent household with a one-parent income. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's the reality of what it was. And so I had to be like, no, we can't.
Mhm.
Finding other ways to be able to do some of the same things that we did without trying to break the bank, because baby, we don't have two incomes no more. We only have one. And so I
Mhm.
can't do all the things, that we were doing all the time. And so sometimes just being honest with your kids, no,
Oh yeah, for
we're
sure.
eating at home. I tell my kid, be on a budget. My son, he'd be like, I don't like budgets. I don't care what you like. We on a budget.
Nobody does.
And I think it goes back to, I'll say this is being on, like we were taught back in the day, it was just like adults business and kids business.
Yeah.
And
No.
I'm not saying reveal everything to children, but however, like some of the stuff children just need to know, hey, we're on a budget. This is what spending looks like. I'm teaching you better habits. I'm teaching you how to be friends with people. I'm teaching you how to have relationships with people. I'm teaching you how to manage your money and stuff. And so then he told me, I went to where'd I go? I went to Ulta.
Mhm.
And he was like, you got perfume at home. Why are you buying perfume? Aren't we on a budget?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Why? He gave me back them same words. Now y'all don't know son. Y'all
Mhm.
internet nephew. He a little rough, he a little wild sometimes. But the reality is that these are the things I put inside of him. So, and then when I go to the store, he was like, I'm not going to ask you for too much because I understand, mommy, that we're on a budget right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, mom, don't get that. Mom, don't buy that. Or he has his own money and sometimes he'll spend money and he'll come in and be like, mom, here's your money back. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that we put inside of them, y'all. And that we don't realize how it honestly makes our job easier.
Yes, it does. I was gonna piggyback and say
Go
that.
ahead. It
I was like,
does.
because in terms of like me, I've been a single mom majority of my process with raising my children, and I've always been transparent with them. And then also just letting them know, and people don't understand like how less of a burden that has been for me, because it's
Yes.
not setting these weird, crazy expectations and this super mom, and I'm gonna get you everything because your daddy ain't here, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna show the world that I'm just this, powerful person, versus just showing my children like, hey, we are limited in this area. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to be able to do
Yes.
what I can do, but what I have. And, you're not going to lack. But at the end of the day, I may not be able to get it, just like you said, with a person with a two-parent household. You know what I mean? I may not be able to get those things, but letting your children know, hey, it's expensive.
Yes.
you. It's expensive to participate in these things. It's expensive,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying, to know that you have to, you need this and you need this, and then you have another sibling that might need this and this and this. So at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you have to understand. And I think just being transparent with my children throughout the process has made it so less stressful for me, because
Yeah.
they come with understanding. They come with, you know what? It's not just me my mama is caring for. She's caring for
Yeah.
myself, my siblings, and the entire household. And
Yeah.
so it just gives them a different sort of like relatability to the world. They don't
Right.
look at people, and it keeps them to a place where it puts it in perspective, I feel. Because
Right.
to look at another family or self, because some kids don't know. If they don't know what's going on with you, they'll look at another family and just think they're just so doing so great, all
Yes.
these things.
Yes, you
And
have
I'm just like,
absolutely.
listen, child,
Okay.
we are not doing what they're doing because we don't know what's going on in their house. You know what I'm saying? And just
Absolutely.
having that concept, they give you more grace. You know what I'm
And
saying?
can I
Your
tell you
children,
something too? It teaches them that our right now is not forever. Where
yes.
I was 5 years ago is not where I am now. You know what I'm saying? And we're
For sure.
working towards teaching them, hey, we're working towards something. We're growing, we're moving, we're evolving. And so no, you couldn't get that before, but now, hey, listen, I
Yeah,
might get you a
got
little
it.
Snicker out the store. You know what I'm saying? Before I'm
You,
like, you're not getting no Snicker. I might get
exactly.
you a
You can
Snicker
grab it
and a
this
Twix.
time. This time.
You know what I'm saying? This time, maybe last week that wasn't the story because
Mhm.
our money be up and down sometimes. That's
Yeah.
just the reality. And there are still moments that maybe I could get it, but I'm still gonna tell you no.
Oh, you're not
Because
gonna.
I want to teach
Oh,
you, I want to show you the gratitude of learning how to evolve and to grow. And so, in all of this, like I said, it just takes the weight off so much with us being able to, Angel, about that good one, I just being able to teach our children, showing my children, being like, hey, listen, every day's not amazing. I didn't cry in front of my kids before. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mhm.
hey, today's just not a good day.
Right.
My son come here, just give me a little hug and be like, okay, mom, I love you. Are you better today? There are moments I tell my kids, listen, I set that timer. I need 1 hour.
Yeah.
Don't knock on my door. Don't touch my door. Don't call my name
Yeah.
unless somebody is bleeding or hurting. And at that moment, make sure you assess it really, really good, before you call me. But
Mhm.
I need a minute, you
Right.
know? And this is the other thing. I give them that same grace. When
Yes.
they're up in day, whatever,
Mhm.
go ahead. Angel had her daughter, she was like, I needed a mental health day. I
Mhm.
said, baby, I understand. I
Mhm.
said, but I want you to maximize this mental health day. So do whatever you need to do to get better because you're going to school tomorrow.
Right.
Because I'm the unofficial auntie. So I had
Right.
to tell her, do whatever you need to do in this moment. But
Mhm.
giving our kids that grace, giving them when they say, hey, it's overwhelming right now. I give them. Back in the day, we didn't have that grace, y'all.
No way. You
We
get it done
didn't. It
all
was
in.
like, just go. I don't care. Just
Mm-mm.
go.
I
You'll
never,
figure it out.
I never even thought it was an option.
No.
Yeah. But even with
Yeah.
our homes, because it makes for when our homes are together, it makes for a more peaceful when we have to go to work. When I got to show up for these ladies, because I've been able to take care of my home, because what I teach is how you do one thing is how you do all things,
Yeah.
right? And what you do at home is what shows up at your work. And so if your
Mhm.
home life is chaotic, you're going to continue to have a chaotic life at
Mhm.
work. And so
Mhm.
sometimes it means taking a break and getting your home life together.
Yes.
Being able to, I gotta clean my house. I used to be like, take on people, take on people, take on people. And I can't do that no more. I don't even care what the end of the week paycheck look like, what the end of the numbers look like sometimes. I gotta come home and clean my house. I can't
Because you have
I
to
can't take
reset.
another client.
Yeah,
That's
you
that
got
extra
that.
$85 is the 2 hours I can be at home focusing on taking care of my
Mhm.
children. And
Exactly.
sometimes, y'all, ladies, we can be chasing the dollars so much because we're not stewarding. Listen, that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh,
Because we're not stewarding our bodies well, we're not stewarding
yes.
our finances well. And because we're not stewarding our finances and our bodies well, y'all, we have to go out and grind harder than
Yes.
what we really have to.
Because your mental is clouded.
Come on, Cara.
You're not even able to think through how you can make this easier.
Yes.
I had a client call me yesterday, and she said, I got to talk. She said, I just got some stuff going on in my business. And I said, your biggest problem is you have not allowed yourself to sit down and think.
Yep.
Mm.
You need to stop.
I'm about to
You need
write.
to sit still.
Yes.
You need to think. You
This is
need to
so good.
prioritize. You need to figure out what is the biggest holdup. Like you said, we were saying before, when you I was inside the coaching with you to cure. It was like, you know the stuff. You know
Yeah.
what to do, but you're not giving yourself time to write it out and make it plain
Yeah.
and strategically work one thing at a time. And then sometimes we bite off way more than we can chew. We see ourselves
Absolutely.
way down the aisle and we
Yeah.
way up here. And what
Hmm.
is it going to take? And I said, you got to focus on becoming the woman that it's going to take
Yes,
to
that's
be this
good.
person,
Yeah.
because you want to be down there, but the habits and stuff you doing here ain't gonna get you there.
No,
You got
and they go, and that's
you,
exactly true. And sometimes it's because everybody else's emergency becomes our emergency.
yeah, and
You
that
know
was
what I'm
exactly
saying?
what I told.
And
I
and
said,
that's one thing I can't
"Mm,
do. You know,
yeah,
you
I can't
can
do
be
it."
you sat down, Angel, and you say, I'm gonna write my book. You know what? Let me edit. I gotta work on some editing. Do. Here come a phone call. Oh my God, Angel, I just need to talk to you right now.
Hmm.
Baby, I can't talk to you right now.
Yeah. Guilty.
You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? I got something, and unless it's like a dire emergency, and at
Right.
that point we need to call
Are
911
you
because I
okay?
Okay,
really can't help you.
because you can't
You know
help.
what I'm saying? Are you okay? Are you safe? Are you in a safe space? Okay, I gotta call you back in like 2 hours because what happens is every single time you sit down to work on your stuff, here comes somebody else. Car, can you come do my hair? You done just made up in your mind you was gonna sit down and do what you need to do.
Yep.
And here comes somebody, my hair messed up. I gotta go to a wedding. I gotta go to court. I gotta go here. And now everybody else's emergency. Girl, can you come do this? I can't.
Yep.
At some point, like you said, it's the habits that it takes to become that person that
Yes.
we're trying to aim towards. And so it's like everybody's emergency. And I used to be that person. Every time somebody call, oh yeah, girl, yes. Oh yeah, come on in. Oh
Yep.
yeah, come
Definitely.
on in.
Definitely.
Knowing good and doggone well, you got a long list of things that you need to
Mhm.
handle. And so I've been
It goes
super
back to what you were
stern.
saying about
Go
training
ahead.
too. Like when we were training
Yes.
as kids, because you said like when we grew up, we weren't able to say, "Hey, that's a lot, mama," or "That's a lot, daddy," or "That's
Yes.
a lot," auntie and grandma. You know what I'm saying? It's just you do it, and you don't say. You never were given a voice. Oh, that is so good, Lord. You
Come on.
weren't given a place to say and put limits and boundaries up. So
Come
you go
on.
into the world with that same aspect and you will get dragged. You hear me?
Ooh, dragged.
Because
Because
people ain't
takers
gonna
have no
stop with
you
the
takers
request.
don't
They
have no
gonna have their
limits.
request ready, baby. They ready.
Mm-mm.
They ready to put their request in. You know what I'm saying? I need you to do this. I need you to do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things that if you don't, we have to go back and reprogram ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And say, you know
Absolutely.
what? Just because I was raised this way, or this was considered the norms in our culture, you do
Yep.
this, you show up, you don't say no. No, 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 no. Because I'm preserving my mind. Because when I get 60, I
Yep.
want to be able to be functioning. I'm not so bogged down with all the stressors and
But
it.
can I tell
Yeah.
you, Car, that's a part of self-care.
Oh yeah.
Saying no is self-care.
Absolutely.
Like literally,
Oh yeah.
self-care is all about what keeps me in the best the best mindset, the best health, all of the things. Like saying no is definitely a part of self-care. And I think
It
what you
is.
said that was so good. Like when you grow up not having a voice,
Mhm.
then you just feel like, you know what? I don't really have one. And we're afraid to let people down. We talked about
Oh
this.
yeah.
Oh my God, we had I did a webinar last night. It was so good. And we talked about like the guilt that we feel about even being successful.
Oh.
Like some of us feel guilty about being successful and leaving people behind and your
Mhm.
circle changing and
Mhm.
evolving, and so you stay stuck in the same place because you're afraid to speak up and to be better and to do better. And it's like you keep asking, like, where is my better? And like you have the tools
Yeah.
to be better, but we get so caught up in other people
Mhm.
and
The
what other
perception
people are going to
would think.
perceive us
Mhm.
as versus like just doing it.
Yeah.
So, all in all, today, we just wanted to encourage, you ladies on this amazing Mother's Day. And even if you don't have biological children, right? Many of you are aunties, many of you are
Yes.
mentors,
Godmother.
many of you are empowerment speakers, many of you guys are motivational people, and you are empowering women and ladies every day. And sometimes it can be tough, to carry that mantle, to carry that assignment out, but it's not impossible. So we just wanted to give y'all some tools. We just wanted to give you guys some encouragement to put your mask on first.
Yes,
I put your
definitely.
mask on first. Go ahead.
Notes.
You're
Y'all might
taking notes.
rewind because I done wrote me a couple notes. Put it on my mirror so that I can be mindful of the things
Oh,
I
yeah,
need,
for sure.
you know.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we all, even, I mean, we all said we all have good advice in terms of what it is to do. We know what to do. It's just implementing them.
Yeah.
And y'all know, I came in there like a fool, working the day. I'm just like, I need to get some rest. I need to get some rest. But never take a day off, just like answering every call and trying to move everybody in. It's like, no, no,
You can't.
no.
I get on you all the time. I be like, Car, why are you in here? You
I'm
are
like, off.
not supposed
I'm
to be
off
in here
this weekend.
today.
I'm not working. I'm just not working.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel it because I feel so much clearer. You know what I'm saying? Because you're chasing every dollar. You don't want to let people down. And at the end of the day, if you're no good and you don't have the mental capacity to do it, then what good are you are to anybody? You know what I'm saying? So definitely, definitely, definitely great stuff, y'all. Great
Real
stuff.
Yeah.
last little note because you said that I wasn't gonna say nothing, but Holy Spirit. So we talk about chasing the dollar and having a break, but then I hear a voice because I heard that voice a couple weeks ago. I'm telling you, I hear
Yeah.
well, what if I really don't? I want to take a break, but I can't financially. I have to be there. I have
Yeah.
not that I have to chase the dollar, but I need to. If I don't show up, I don't get paid. If I don't get paid, these bills.
Absolutely.
Let me
Come
tell
on.
you something quick. God is your provider.
For sure.
If
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
are doing what you need to do and you are in standing with the Lord, you have prayed, you have repented, you are, fasting. Ask your Father.
Yes, Lord.
I promise you, today, this very day,
Mhm.
I completely witness to the fact that my book was completely empty.
Yeah.
Like going in, even I want to say, even that Saturday prior,
Mm.
I may have had two people on a Saturday and one person on Friday, but
Mhm.
the rest of the book was empty. And
Wow.
maybe it might have been Sunday morning. I said, Lord, listen, either
Okay.
provide the people
Yes.
spaces or provide the bills or pay. You pay the bills. Because
Yeah. It's
what
either one.
Yeah. The one.
and literally on Monday, and those of you who don't know, I used to Uber and do Instacart while I was supplementing when I first moved here. And so
Mhm.
I turned my little Instacart on. Instacart said no. They needed some kind of verification. I turned my little Uber on. Uber said no. They
Yep.
needed some kind of verification. In that moment, I'm like, Lord, I have literally tried. I've been marketing. I literally tried everything I could within my capacity. And it was
Come on, Angel.
I,
I let it out your hands. You did
exactly
everything. You gave it away.
I gave it to him.
Released it.
I said,
Yes.
Lord, you are my provider and I trust you. I
Mhm.
trust you. And I'm going to go ahead. And as a matter of fact, I sat in my backyard and I just, I said, God
Yeah.
provide. He's going to either bring the people and I promise you within 20 or 30 or so minutes,
Mhm.
do so-and-so booked an appointment. Do so-and-so booked an appointment. Then I'm getting texts. Can you fit me in? Can you put me in? Let
Yep.
me, God is your provider.
Come on.
You better
All
talk about
and
it.
that moment, ask God for it. God, I don't feel that I can take this time, but I need some time.
Mhm.
And let him do it. Trust that he will do it.
Of
And
course.
believe it. Because if he said you can move a mountain, and that's a big thing, then he can pay the bill. That's a
Yeah.
small. He can give
Yeah.
the provision and give you the
That's just a little bit.
Mhm.
okay. That's all I had to say it.
And last
That's so
thing, when
good.
you said to Kira, you said something about our finances and stewarding our finances.
Yeah.
My biggest lesson a few years ago was God dropped in my spirit. He said to be faithful of a few things.
Yeah.
If you faithful with what I'm helping you make, and
Absolutely.
you budgeting and you making sure that you're taking care of the most important things, I'm gonna bring everything else on in. You
That's
know,
it.
and so that is the main thing that we have to do, and that all slow down, get
Yep.
the budget together, look at your money. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And then see what you got. Because a lot of times we have it, but we're so busy on the road and
Yeah.
we're overspending and we're doing too much over here. And you're not able to sit down and say, where are my resources going?
Yeah.
What am I spending my money on? You know what I'm saying? Am I eating out too much? Am I buying random, what do we call that therapy? Retail therapy. We're buying stuff that we really don't need at the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Overbuying. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's stuff, the money a lot of time is there, but we
Mhm.
haven't slowed down enough to
Yep.
see, you know what I'm saying? What am I doing with it? You know what I'm saying? Because I've been there. I've been to the point where it's like, Lord, if somebody cancel this week, I ain't gonna have what I need. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I know what it's like to be chasing that dollar. You know what I'm saying? But I also pray for days like this where I'm not,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it comes. It definitely comes, but it also comes with you, like you said. We said putting the trust in God, putting it in His hand, not coming from a lack mindset. Changing your mindset about things, and just continuously doing what you're already doing. You know what I'm saying? Showing up every day, showing up, to your best capacity. You know what I mean? And it'll get done. It will get there. Yeah, look how far you came. Like you said, you've done so many strides within a time spirit. Think about yourself. Think about yourself 2 years ago. Where were you? What were you doing? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And where are you now? You get what?
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you.
well, I'm sorry. I'm done.
Yes.
I'm done.
Nope. Well, thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for watching. This was good
It
conversation. We just wanted to
was.
let y'all in on our salon talk, our salon conversation. And so we talk about healthy hair all the time. And so healthy hair and healthy life, they go hand in hand. And
Mhm.
so we want to encourage you guys to steward your bodies well, steward your lives well, steward your finances well. Angel, she told us today, put the mask on first. Cara told us to take a minute to just think. Don't turn nothing on. Take a minute just to think.
Mhm.
Get what is your mind saying? What are your thoughts saying? And so that you know how to set those boundaries to combat your mind. And so we love y'all so much. And we
Yeah.
thank y'all for watching. Share this live with somebody that y'all know need it. We're here every month at noon on Mondays. Y'all know Mondays are our days off. We may give y'all an evening every now and again. We'll see how that goes. But until then, y'all join us at noon. It's typically our lunchtime anyway.
Mhm.
But join us at noon. But we love y'all and we thank y'all for watching and have a good day. Bye.
Bye.